Well, hello everyone, I'm Darth Browner, and welcome to the next part of my Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations breakthrough. In the previous video, we started the recipe for Turnabout case, where Maggey Byrde, if you remember her from the case from the last game, it was the first case, she's now been accused of murder of a guy called Glenn Elg, who was murdered at the cafe Tribulations that she works in. So after talking to her kleptomaniac of a restaurant owner and boss, Jean Armstrong, and an old guy, Victor Kudo, there have been some facts that have not added up. It doesn't help as well that in her previous trial, because this is a retrial, Phoenix was, for want of a better word, impersonated, and we met him towards the end of the previous video, and it's quite bizarre to say the least. See what he looked like. Anyway, this is the first part of the trial. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Oh, I see. I guess I should have expected this. Nobody saw the other guy, huh? But he was there when I took the coffee over, sir. Scout's honour. Maggey. Detective Gumshoe. Are you doing alright? How are you feeling? As if you need to ask either question, sir. Let them get you down, Maggey. And don't forget to eat well, okay? Roger. Are you? Yes? You better square this case away, got it, pal? Maggey's innocent, you hear? If you screw up, then I'll be doing some squaring away myself. Squaring away some paperwork for your arrest. I think he's serious. Hey, detective, you're on our side for once, right? Yep. So you'll be able to help Maggey out, right? Really? Can you, sir? Oh, of course. I've got the situation under control. I'm going to be the first witness on the stand today. Something I say doesn't mesh with the facts. Make sure you point it out, alright? Sure. Okay, we're forming a united front today, pal. You get me? I can't tell you how grateful I am, sir. I've always admired you so much, detective. I know I can count on you. Looks like it should all go pretty smoothly today, huh? I can only wish. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggey Byrde. The defence is ready, Your Honour. Byrde. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honour? What's wrong? Nothing, it's just whenever I addressed you in the previous trial, your response was, "You're talking to me?" It was a little, well, intimidating. No, that wasn't me, that was the phony Phoenix. I see, so our trusty Phoenix Wright is back with us now, is he? Our trusty? So, Mr. Godo, your opening statement, please. Mr. Tratt, whether you're a fake or the real deal, we'll find out soon enough through this trial today. But I can already tell you I'm the real Phoenix Wright. I wasn't questioning whether you are Phoenix Wright or not. I was questioning whether you had studied law or not. That's what I intend to find out. There's no denying it. Behind that mask is a man who really hates me for some reason or another. As everyone is aware, the court has already given its verdict on this case once. Therefore, I won't stand for irrelevant testimony during this retrial, nor will I stand for a simple repetition of the evidence presented in the last trial. I'm not planning on repeating anything that phony me said, trust me. Now then, Mr. Godo, please summon your first witness. Let's start with the formalities, shall we? Name and occupation. Witness, state your name for the court. Oh, sorry, sir. Name's Police Department Detective. Occupation, Dick Gumshoe. The other way around, Detective. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm the officer in charge of this case since yesterday, sir. Since yesterday? Yeah, the guy who was on the initial investigations toyed up with another case now. I hope Gumshoe's really got everything under control for everyone's sake. I see. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you outline for the court the basic facts of the case? Yes, sir. The victim's name was Glenn Elg. He was a professional programmer. He was on the payroll at Blue Screens Inc., a local company. This is the victim's autopsy report. Court accept this into evidence. And here are the floor plans of the restaurant. When the incident took place, the victim was sitting right here. Poison coffee was brought over to him by the waitress. The waitress being the accused. Yeah. The victim died from poisoning almost immediately after he took a sip of the coffee. At the time of the incident, there were 2 other people in the restaurant. Mr. John Armstrong, the owner and chef, and a regular by the name of Mr. Victor Kudo. Still seems to be a very straightforward case to me. Come, detective, take up this hammer and nail the defendant's coffin shut with your own 2 hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, let's have your testimony. Yes, sir. When the incident took place, the victim was alone at his table, sir. We understand that the guy, Glenn Elg, was listening to the radio at the time. Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup, and what we found was potassium cyanide. That stuff really packs a punch. And it looks like Miss Byrde might have had, well, some kind of a motive. Using a dark aromatic dash of coffee to conceal the poison. Classy lady. Facts in this case seem to be ironclad. Mr. Wright, I would ask that you to begin your cross-examination, but... Yes? Please, no intimidation tricks this time around, is that understood? I already told you that wasn't me. Can I stop you for just a minute? What is it? Do I say something that contradicts the evidence? He's so desperate for that to be true, he's practically crying. Your testimony just now doesn't match the testimony given by Miss Byrde. She claims there was another man at the victim's table. Yes, well, she said no. Well, killer wouldn't say that when faced with a homicide conviction. Hey. Sadly, your testimony is inspired by the owner or the other customer. Isn't that right, Detective Gumshoe? Yes, true. There are 2 testimonies toyed upon that. Both said there was no other guy at the table. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? Or maybe the other witnesses just missed him. Perhaps their view of the victim's table was obscured in some way. Huh. That argument is as weak as the coffee at Tribulations, Troy. I have here in my possession a ticket. A ticket? That's more like a photo to me. Yes, a one-way ticket to Guiltyville. Population, the defendant. This is a photograph taken from near the entrance to the kitchen. This is the scene as witnessed by the chef moments after the poisoning took place, correct? I think the court will agree with that with such a clear view of the scene of the crime. How, Mr. Trump, could anyone have overlooked the second person at the table? It certainly seems to show the victim's table extremely clearly. So traces of poison were found in the coffee cup and nowhere else? Not sure I get you, pal. Was the poison a liquid or was it a powder? If I had to put it in layman's terms, I'd say it was a powdery substance. So the poison could have been in anything that was on the table. Sugar, salt, pepper. Huh. You put salt and pepper in your coffee, Track. The victim took his fluffy black with no sugar. Ugh. Seems the poison could only have been in the coffee. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? Are you absolutely certain that the victim even drank any of his coffee? Well, what do you mean? According to this file, the poison was found in the victim's coffee cup. What proof is there that the victim ever drank any of it? Oh, hey, you're right. That's what I was thinking. In case you were wondering, that last objection was for the detective there. Well, for me? Oh, hey, you're right. You may be feeling the cup, but I'm not falling for it. If you have the time to waste, you have the time to present that piece of evidence. That piece, sir? Yes, that piece. What piece was it again? This. Should I be grateful this coffee's only hot enough to give me first-degree burns? Oh, now I remember. This is the, victim's coffee cup. Yes, the victim's coffee cup. Take a good look at the rim. Oh yes, it's unmistakable. There is clearly a coffee stain on it. Conclusive proof that the victim did drink the poisoned coffee that was in this cup. The victim gulped down the bitter death that the waitress brought to him. Like this. For the record, the only prints on the cup were the victims and the defendants. Upon further investigation, the cup was found a certain chemical substance. Some kind of a motive? Yeah, but if you ask me, it's been blown way out of proportion. You know what my golden rule is, detective. Check out a bad cup of coffee, you can always get another. Huh? I don't get it. I'm saying we can always get another witness on the stand if I have to check you out. So stick to the facts, detective. Now, what was Miss Byrde's motive? Come on, Gumshoe. They say she wanted to steal a lottery ticket. Knew it. That's what we heard yesterday too. Spirit on the scene of the crime. And it wasn't just any lottery ticket. It was a winning ticket of $500,000. Mr. Armstrong knew about that ticket too, didn't he? He stole the wrong one. Then is it possible Maggey stole the winning one? What shall I do? Shall I press on this point a little harder or not? Wait a minute. The mere fact that the lottery ticket disappeared in no way implicates my client. Huh. I have here in my hand the very ticket in question. That's the $500,000 lottery ticket? Well, the female police officers found it when she was conducting a search of the defendant. What? Order. Ah, she's quite a lucky bird, our little waitress. You will submit that ticket to evidence to the court immediately. I better keep an eye on that ticket. The way the judge's voice is quivering. This ticket was presented to the court in the previous trial too, but it feels heavier now somehow. $500,000, you say? Here's just a scrap of paper. What matters is where it was found, Your Honour. And that's on Maggey's person, unfortunately. That's enough. The facts of this case seem overwhelmingly clear to me. The defendant had ample opportunity to commit the crime of which she is charged. Furthermore, it seems beyond reasonable doubt that she did indeed commit this crime. I like an old man who knows the score. There is also the matter of the $500,000 lottery ticket. That alone provides a clear, very credible motive. I mean, for that sum of money, even I might be tempted to bend the rules. I don't mind an old man who is weak to the siren call of money. Not good, Nick. The evidence against Maggey starting to pile up fast. Yeah, that's because the court's ruled guilty once already. I'd say it's about time to wrap up this repeat performance with one final decisive piece of evidence. He's got more evidence against Maggey? This is the apron and stuff that Miss Byrde was wearing at the time. Wow, that's not the cleanest apron I've seen. That stain looks like it can't be blood, can it? Huh. Seems the star of our play was a little flustered. And somehow spilled coffee on herself. Coffee? That's not exactly the first thing that caught my eye. Of course, the coffee stain isn't the most interesting thing about this apron. No, it's something else that stands out even more. Something else? I presume you mean... Of course, I'm referring to the pocket. The pocket? Search carried out right after the incident uncovered this. Potassium cyanide. The very poison used by the killer was in her apron pocket. Bottle of poison in Maggie's pocket? Yeah, Maggie's prints were the only ones on it. What? Order, order, order. The court will accept these items into evidence. There's something still bothering Mr. Gozo. Why don't you not explain the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-coloured stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about bloodstain. You don't need to be told. Just look at her. Well, detective, could this stain really be blood? No way, sir. It's just ketchup. Ketchup? She must have gotten it on her apron while taking some of their breakfast that day. You could have spoken up a little sooner, Detective Gumshoe. If it's not like that again, I'll have you drink 17 cups of ketchup, witness. I thought everyone knew what it was already. I haven't seen anything yet to make me doubt the last ruling I made on the case. The motive, the opportunity, and the supporting evidence, they have all been clearly established. Well, Tribe, it seems you really are a phony after all. You really know how to drive a man nuts. Witness, please continue with your testimony. Describe for the court the crime scene and the findings of your investigation there. The crime was reported at 2:25 PM by kind of scary old man, sir. Poor Maggie had passed out from the shock. It must have been real tough for her. The victim didn't have any identification on him, but we figured out who he was pretty quick and the investigation went smoothly. When Maggie was searched, we found a lottery ticket and a bottle of poison. That was it. There was nothing else missing from the crime scene. You identified the victim as the original prime suspect. Very good. Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer, Tribe. Don't count on any more cross-examinations after this one, so let the fun begin. Please, sir. Did I say something dumb again? Let me paraphrase what you just testified to the court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. That's basically what you said, yeah? Yeah, basically. In that case, how were you able to identify the victim so quickly? Oh, that. He's so let down, he got the whole sagging shoulders and puppy eyes thing going. There was a prescription bag on the victim's table along with the lottery ticket. Seems Mr. Glenelg visited his doctor before he went to Tribulations. We got the victim's name from the medical records of the doctor who prescribed the meds. That's a reliable enough source for the court. What should I do? Should I leave this or ask to hear more? So what sort of medicine was in the bag? Well, actually, the bag we found was empty. Huh? Yeah, completely empty. It was completely empty. Huh. You're entering an empty paper bag as evidence. Desperate, are you, Trad? Now, what happened with the investigation of that detective? But, alright. Detective Gumshoe, I think I should put something out to you. There's just one small contradiction in your testimony. Oh, finally! I'm getting all anxious just waiting to hurry up, will you? You testified that nothing else was missing from the crime scene. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. Did the officers recover the medicine from the scene of the crime later? No, they didn't. The victim was given a prescription right before going to Tribulations. Where then did the medicine disappear to? You are too cool, pal. Indeed, due consideration wasn't given to the victim's prescription in the previous trial. Witness, why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence? Well, I guess that's the most careless thing I've done so far, huh? The victim was killed by poison, and the victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been the lethal poison itself. Order! Well, Mr. Byrde, what do you have to say to that? Huh, that's all. What? Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription bag, if you will. What's the clinic's name got to do with anything? New Ear Otolaryngological Clinic. Otolaryngological? What kind of illness was the victim suffering from, Mr. Byrde? Hardly an illness, Your Honour. More like a bit of a war wound, you could say. A war wound? The day before the incident, Mr. Alk found himself in a fire. He took a blow to the side of the head and ruptured his eardrum. He ruptured his eardrum? And what on earth was the prescription he was given? It was a cream that was to be applied topically in his ear canal, not to be ingested. What? Mentioned in the autopsy report, if you read the fine print, found traces of the medication in the victim's left ear. Yes, here it is, in very, very fine print. Seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulations. Therefore, it would be absurd to believe that he would leave eating his medication. Oh. Seems that his medication is relevant to the case after all. No. Nick. If you don't think of something quick, it'll all be over. She's right. I can't get away with any old weak objection. What shall I do? Only moments ago, Mr. Byrde made the following statement. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication when he was at Tribulations. If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime? But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal. That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth. You know as well as I do that the medication is irrelevant. It hardly seems likely that a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide. It hardly seems likely that the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But it did. The possibility is undeniable. That's enough. Mr. Byrde, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Byrde? I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there in the restaurant on the day of the murder. Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater. Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems as well as trivial. However, it wasn't explored at all in a previous trial, and that is something that bothers me. Yay, good job, Nick. The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution's next witness. Huh. I suppose it means I'll just have to finish you off in my next 6 cups. Court is adjourned for recess. Phew, that was close. Tell me about it, I nearly died in there. It's my line, sir. No, it's my line. I think we did die in there a little bit. It's like we all nearly died in there. Can't believe Detective Gumsh, how could he betray us like that? Huh? He said he'd help me. He totally set me up. I don't think he meant to do that, Maggey. He was backed into a corner. I mean, the guy's got to do his job, right? It's okay, I know all about lies betrayal. I've had them my whole life. It really hurt this time. It really felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see him again. Poor gumshoe. So the next witness is going to be that old guy from the park, right? Yeah, Mr. Kudo, lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds. But he's going to be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know. Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you going to be able to handle him now? Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me, even his never-ending bird seeds. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggey Byrde. Mr. Godot, your next witness, please. Prosecution calls a lucky old timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take the stand? Name and occupation, if you don't mind. Name is Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honour and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times too. You don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation. My occupation? God, listen, young'un. How much do you think there is for kimono embroidery here? Kimono embroidery? That's what I do, or did, back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed. Wow, real craftsmen, they're a dying breed. Hey, maybe we could embroider my costume sometime. Anyway, like I said, not much demand for that kind of thing here, so I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint. Pretended to smile. That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen. Now, that witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident? Oh yes, I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javicino. Seeds? What do you think these are, I see. So you saw everything that happened, Grams. Did I? Oh yes I did. I saw it all. And please tell the cop where all he is. Sure, I'll tell you every last detail. He's really getting into this. The young man was reading the sports paper. The serving girl brought him a Javicino, but she put something in it. Man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. Mr. Kudo, she is not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a witness. Okay, you're as bad as the rest of them. Those newfangled words. What's wrong with old-fashioned wisdom? Newfangled? All this talk of radios and glasses is wireless and spectacles, I tell you. Excuse me? Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away. Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honour. You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Does she have any particular features that you can identify her by? Particular features is a disgrace, that's what it is. Sorry? You can see all the way up to it, you know, practically naked in that uniform. So the particular feature you recognise about the waitress is her outfit. But anyone could wear just such a uniform, even me. Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that image. Don't get all excited, Nick. You'll keep yourself together. I guess I got a bit carried away. Yeah, there's other things I recognise about it too. He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do? Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether the waitress was Maggey Byrde or not. Quite right. Kudo, these are other features that you recognise about the defendant. I would ask you to add them to your testimony. Sure. There was a ribbon in her hair and her apron straps were loose. You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. But what about the most crucial detail of all? Her face. As if I wouldn't remember that. The witness noticed the straps of the accused's apron. He didn't like to make a mistake about her face. That's right, I could even tell you the colour of her ribbon in her hair was red. So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight. There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What shall I do? I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow. The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back. So what? Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all? It got you there, Gramps. People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons. This is harassment, I tell you, I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons. I'll tell you what I saw. Mr. Crudo, the court requests that you add details about any identified features. Features? Who reserved from the front, that is, to your testimony. Sure. This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer, and if I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer, I bet. Mr. Crudo, I'd like you to take a look at this. That filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly. That actually reminds me of what my grandson looks like after he's done eating. Have you ever seen this before? Of course I haven't. Think I'd forget something as dirty as that? Well, you're half-witted clock. Well, what is it? Ever since I said you're half-witted clock, there's been an eerie silence here. Mr. Crudo, this apron? It's the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. As you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means if you had really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. Couldn't have possibly seen the waitress on the front. Oops. Witness, you don't just oops your way out of this. Well, so we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Listen, here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant. That being the defendant, Miss Maggey Byrde. Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison in the coffee cup, this old guy was watching. I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Crudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say you remember seeing. Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps. Your alarm being Captain might not get in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what a burger a customer wanted. You can't remember, probably more like he's messed it so many times he's blocking it out. Very well, that's just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Crudo. Tell us about what you remember about the victim. He was another one of those pesky young types, wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand and the noisy brat kept rustling its pages. The young man was listening to the wireless, I remember that well. The servant girl in question brought over a Javachino. The little fidget picked up the coffee with his free hand and took a sip. That's really we have just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail. Oh yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything. How are we going to handle this, Nick? We only need to do one thing. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot. Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel? I suppose, just what I do best. Mr. Crudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? That this was a way of testing the credibility of your memory? I know, there's nothing wrong with my memory, I tell you, nothing. If I've got anything wrong, I'll eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song. Care to tell us where this is going, Trent? According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand, while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left. God, what is this? Kindergarten? I'd like the court to please take a look at this. That's the cup the victim used, correct? Yes, and on the rim, you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips. Yes, there is a stain left by the coffee. If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim is holding the cup in his right hand. But how? Well, Mr. Kudo, of course, waiting for your epic performance. You said you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song. Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. I think the witness had better go back to the part where he came from. Wait! If you think I'm going to stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong. I don't care about that dirty coffee cup, I know what I saw. You still insist on your testimony? That young brat was holding the cup in his left hand. Oh yes, no question. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that those young up, but you spaggy-head yahoo or fault. You, me? Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already. Don't call me old man. Been around for 68 years, how you counting on me? This is what I've got to say. I'm sorry, Mr. Good, but... Sure, why not hear a little more? Mr. Gordo. But this is my 16th cup of coffee, so this is your final stand. Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor. Boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side of the green lens of his specs. Kept fiddling with it all the time. Fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup too. Then he used the same hand to pick up the cup with his left hand. We know that the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye, which is like a scouter from the Dragon Ball series, I might add. It wasn't a monocle, Your Honour. It was a small computer monitor often used by programmers. A monitor? You mean like a television screen? The inside of the lens is screen displays computer data. Or, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, power levels. Calling HMD is a common tool in the victim's line of work. Or, as I like to call it, Dragon Ball lore here, Scouter. HD, TV, DVD, CD, all these newfangled letters drive me mad, but don't matter. I know what I saw and I'm telling the truth. It's true, he doesn't seem to be lying. And those are the facts in good old black and white. I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but Mr. Kudo, there is something very strange about your observations of the victim. What? You say he was wearing an earpiece on the same side as his HMD. No question, you'll lock me up if I'm wrong, it was his left ear without a doubt. I want to see that side of his head from where I was sitting. I don't think so. What did you say? You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo, but the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured. Eh? Traces of medication for his condition were found in the ear canal. That's right. It's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear, because he couldn't even hear in that ear. Is that true, Captain? It is. Pigeon. Pretty pigeon. Order. This witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He saw the waitress from behind, and he claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when he knew his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Godo, a single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. So, old man, Here's my drop of milk. Captain, you call me a drip. This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows the victim picked it up with his right hand. And the back down, I know I'm right. The lad drank his cappuccino with his left hand. Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly the victim used both hands. He took a sip of the cup but held in his right hand and then switched to his left. That's what the old man saw. Impossible. The witness has already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking one sip of coffee. Which hand the victim used to pick up his cup is irrelevant, Your Honour. The facts still stand. With one hand or the other, Mr. L drank the poison coffee. Like this. Sadly, Mr. Godot, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. And the results are clear. Testimony given by this witness is useless. I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I'm satisfied that the witness is not deceiving the court, but to be frank, his testimony is a farce. Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fool. I'm sorry, Mr. Curdo, you can't reach me from here. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. That is all for now. This court is adjourned. Wait, we stop now? Where does that leave me? Leave you, Mr. Curdo? Thanks to that blue dotted upstart over there. I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his R's now. How is your bad memory my fault? Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Curdo, but there's nothing I can do. I've kept my mouth shut until now, but there's something else the court should know. What? There's more? Yeah, to be honest, it might not be anything, but I want another chance. I want to crack at you, young shark. Me? He's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun. Whatever, what do you say to one final showdown? Final chapter in this eccentric old man's scrapbook. Sorry, Ramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee. What you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the Javachino you want if you've gone to my house after a trial. I'm maybe 60 years old, but Victor Cool is still a man. That's enough, witness. I believe it'll be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony. You bet. I can't believe this is happening. Haha, you better get ready, youngster. I get the picture, just quit throwing these seeds at me, would you? He's gonna be using some sort of infinite ammo code with those black box of seeds. That's one of my favourite lines in the entire series. I love that line. First of all, I want to stress this might be nothing. I'm not too sure myself. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his Jaffaccino. Well, clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. Broke, and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, Is that all? Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. Hey, doubting me again? You're doubting the poor defences, you old man. No, we are not doubting you, Mr. Kruger. Don't you just get the feeling there's a question hang on everyone's lips? Yes, so what, probably. That's all I can think of. I have to cross-examine this guy. You're a bird brain, that's all you can think of. Very well, Mr. Wright, your final cross-examination, please. Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene. So what? Look carefully at this table. The vase is there, intact. Huh? Lost your tongue, Grandad? I'm your granddad, yours, Opscotch. Ow, ow, ow. Enough. For any more seats in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night. What is it now? I just remembered something. Yes, go on. Broken vase. It was on my table. What? Well, you see. Last time we when that young lad collapsed. I stood up. Must have been when it fell over. Vase on my table. I mean, vase on your table? Yes, it was on my table. Last time my groin came to be completely soaked. Oh, thank you, Mr. Crudo. You've certainly earned your kudos for today. I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been any use at all? Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Crudo. Oh, wait a minute. That's the case, I've got more to say. Well, you're talking about something else. Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom. Wait, listen to me. Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked. I'm still not in a position to deliver a verdict. The defendant has not been positively identified as the witness in question. Additionally, there are two disparities in the testimony we've heard this far. The mark on the coffee cup that the victim supposedly drank from his left hand, and the earpiece which was inserted into his left ear, out of which he couldn't hear. Wow, Nick, you did it! Therefore required both the defence and the prosecution to further investigate the facts. Yes, Your Honour. There's one more thing before I call today's session to an end. One more thing, Your Honour. The witness we just heard from, he's most insistent that his testimony should be of use, so he summarised it accordingly to this statement. Okay. You may each have a copy of it, if you wish. Whatever, the prosecution doesn't need props like that. God is really mad. Yeah, I would be too. Very well. There you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies. My own, yours, and Mr. Godow's. Yes, Your Honour. I'm sorry. This isn't a piece of testimony, more like a 5-year-old's apology. What are we supposed to do with 3 copies? Not at all. This court is adjourned. And that brings us to the end of today's video. This has been Darth Branner. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a like and hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you on the next video. Ciao for now, everyone. Bye-sies.